How's it going, everyone? My name's Matt from Pinup Media, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the government's self-employed income support scheme. So I'm going to basically go through the fine points of the scheme from what we know so far, a few of the eligibility criteria, so you can double check to see if you are eligible. Also going to highlight some key points and some key problems with this, because like most schemes that have been knocked out in a hurry like this one has, there's going to be a few little teething errors, and there's also unfortunately going to be people who've slipped through the cracks as well. Quick disclaimer, it should go without saying that I am not a professional. I'm not an expert at this. I'm just a musician, but I have been doing a lot of research and a lot of reading up on it at the minute. So if I do make any mistakes, if I do get anything wrong, then I'm sure you won't hesitate to let me know down in the comments, and please do, because I want this to be as clear and as accurate as possible. So the government are offering a taxable grant worth 80% of your monthly profits. That's your monthly profits, not your turnover. It will cover up to a maximum of £2,500 a month, depending on your earnings. Only available to those earning under £50,000 a year. That's about 3.8 million people out of the 5 million that are self-employed in the UK. It'll be paid in a single lump sum. It won't be available till June, so we've got a bit of a wait, but as soon as June comes around it will be backdated to March, so we should hopefully get a lump sum of 3 months worth. So let's have a more in-depth look at those points. The grants will be taxable, which means you will have to declare them as earnings on this tax year. That's the 2020 to 2021 tax year. The government will pay 80% of your average monthly profits, and that's going to be worked out from the last 3 years, going off your submitted tax returns. A major perk that comes with this scheme is that, unlike the employee scheme, the self-employed people are actually, they can find other work and they can continue to work and earn money, whether that be in self-employed income or by getting a job somewhere else. The employee scheme doesn't actually offer that, so that's one advantage that self-employed people get. Sound of employed people being triggered. So who's it for? You can claim if you're a self-employed individual or a member of a partnership who has done the following: submit at least one tax return for the 2018 to 20 tax year, have to have traded in the year just gone, which is the 2019 to 2020 tax year. You have to be trading when you apply, or would be trading if it wasn't for coronavirus. You have to intend to continue for trading this tax year. You have to have lost profits due to coronavirus, and at least half of your income must have come from self-employment as registered on the 2018 to 2019 tax year. So who is it not for? It's not for company owners who pay themselves a dividend. People who earn over £50,000 a year, they will not be eligible for the grant. Those who have not filed a tax return for the 2018-2019 tax year, so that new startups, this is a pretty big problem for people who've literally just set up as self-employed, and they haven't yet submitted a tax return. They're just not being covered by this, but we'll get to that later. Anyone who missed the January deadline for the 2018-19 tax year, you have until the 23rd of April to get it filed, so why is it taking you this long? Just get it done. So how to calculate what you may be due. Now this is going to get, I'll try to keep this as simple as I can, okay? So I'm going to pop some sums up over my shoulder. So let's say, for example, in year 1 you got £6,000 profit, so a slow year. Year 2, £10,000 profit, and year 3, £14,000 profit. So the total profit for the last 3 years, remember this is just an example, is £30,000. So to work out the average yearly profits over those last 3 years, if you divide that total by 3, that will give you the average yearly profits for the last 3 years. So then to work out the monthly average, you just divide that by 12, and then that will give you £833 in this case. That is your monthly average, but they're only going to be paying 80% of that, remember. So now you need to work out 80% of that. So essentially take that figure, 833, times it by 0.80, and then that'll give you, ooh, spooky, £666 a month. As soon as June comes around, they're going to be backdating it to March, so it's going to be 3 months. So that'll be £1,998. So there's just like a simple, you know, formula that I imagine they're going to be using, but you should be able to work out exactly what you are due. So how to claim? Obviously you can't claim yet because the scheme has only just been pretty much written up, and they are still providing training at HMRC for everyone on how they're going to roll it out. They have a plan, they're just not implemented it yet. But they are in the works at the minute. So the scheme isn't ready yet, but here is what you can expect. You'll likely be contacted in mid-May, I think it says on the Gov.uk website. You'll be contacted by HMRC if you are eligible. HMRC will be using the data that they already have from your submitted tax returns to basically assess if you are eligible. You'll possibly need to confirm to HMRC that your business has been adversely affected by the virus. After that, you'll be invited to apply on the gov.uk website. I think they're setting up an online service, which should hopefully be easy, but we all know as self-employed individuals what the Gov website is like as far as these online application services go. Also, I spoke to my mate who works at HMRC early on today, and he said that there's going to be like a dedicated phone number for self-employed people, like directly for self-employed people to call, and if you have any, you know, issues with the online system or whatnot, you can basically ring them. So that's good. Although I'm sure they'll just refer you to the gov.uk website, but you know, it's the little things. So a few problems with this system is no payment until June. Obviously there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes that we're not seeing, but these things do take time. However, a lot of people don't, you know, a lot of people struggle to get by week to week, let alone until the start of June. So there's one problem. People who aren't trading a profit, or those who have only made minimal profit, this is going to be a problem for them. And people who have not yet submitted a tax return, or new startup businesses, people who only started in this year just gone, so the 2019-2020 year, they won't be eligible, unfortunately. There's a few things that those people can do. They can apply for universal credit. They have relaxed the rules now, and although there's a lot of people moaning about it still, saying that it's a, you know, nightmare to get hold of them, they are just dealing with a massive, you know, influx of new people who are claiming the credit. So definitely, if you are eligible for it, apply for universal credit, because that's what it's there for. Another problem though is that not everyone is eligible for universal credit. For example, the people who have savings in the bank over a certain amount, and if you have a partner who is still working or still earning, those people can't apply for universal credit. So if, like me, you're part of a trade union, I'm part of the musicians union, there are a few hardship funds set up by various unions and like trade organisations out there. To those who can't claim universal credit, I'd highly recommend that you have a look at some of the local authorities or trade unions that you may be a part of, and hopefully there'll be something there for you as well. Another thing to do is simply just to seek other employment while this is going on. There's a few industries out there that are hiring, so delivery drivers, vans and HGVs, like supermarkets, Amazon, Royal Mail, pharmacies, NHS supply chain, takeaways. There's been an increased demand for warehouse operatives as well if you can't drive. Hardware stores like Screwfix and B&Q, they're still taking on. Healthcare workers, pharmacy counter staff, online teaching, cleaning jobs, fruit picking. Yeah, I mean, the list goes on really. There are jobs out there, so if you do need to, then I would highly recommend that you start looking at other employment should you need it. So will we have to pay more tax in the future? Probably. The world economy has taken a massive hit from this, and it's an unprecedented, enormous care package that the government have rolled out for everyone to keep us all afloat. So more than likely taxes will be raised, I imagine, and they'll probably bring the rate of taxation on the self-employed up to the same level as employed people, more than likely. Other than that, we don't really know. We don't know when the lockdown is going to be lifted, and when it is lifted, we don't know whether we're going to be going back to life as normal or whether we're going to be continuing to self-isolate until a vaccine's been developed. But until then, I think the best thing for us to do is to stay positive and to weigh up all of our options and make sure that we're looking after ourselves, and just as importantly, make sure we're looking after each other as well. So thanks very much for tuning in. I hope this has helped. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments and I'll be sure to address them, and make sure you pull me up on any mistakes. So yeah, until next time, cheers.